The button.
Getting live. There we go. Okay.
Oh,
Hey guys, I guess we're live.
who's that? Who? What?
Hey,
What?
look
I
who it
have
is up there.
infiltrated your stream.
No. I mean the Canadian. Who's this non-uniform person. It's so wrong.
Oh,
What's happening?
I'm Section 31. That's why I'm wearing black. Should go grab my Section 31 Trekyards badge.
Yes, the level of costuming you bring to these streams is often so strong.
Right? Anyway, hi guys, we are back, and today we have a special guest, Mr. Sean Ferrick from Trekyards is joining us. Hello, Sean.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much. I'm loving this costume party we're having.
Some of us are having, yes. I wasn't in on this. That's why I'm sitting here like this. So, thank you.
And I also want to see which Sean would pick, because he has a slight plethora. I was like, which one would he pick? It's up to him. He picked that one. Why that one? Why'd you go for the Voyager?
One is these costumes, these particular jumpsuits are so genuinely comfortable. Like, it's ridiculous. Now, that is very much contingent on it being the right size.
Mm-hmm.
You can get away with some of the zip-up jackets being a little bit off to one side or the other. No, the jumpsuit, it's either the right size or you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. Look at the bright side, Samuel. At least he's wearing pants for this one, or trousers, I guess.
Do you know that though? Do you know that?
Well, if it's a jumpsuit, it's a fairly safe bet.
Well, I have a Stargate SG-1 flight suit, and there's zippers where you pee. So I mean, you can easily unzip and.
Oh wow.
Well, it's a real military flight suit, so it's actually for real things. And I went Picard Future because I like this one. And it's like Sean, but not. I see your future, Sean. It's all good until one certain day, then all goes shit in my world. But before that, it's great.
Excellent, cool. That's not scary at all.
No.
Well, one of our Federation presidents, Mark Lawrence, has a $2 super chat for us. He says, just a bit early to start off the live stream, but he got that first super chat strike. So thank you very much, Mark. Much appreciated. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, we always have a first super chat and a last super chat slot to kind of see who wants to jump in and who wants to be a sly dog at the end, like the eBay sort of thing of like, oh, made it sort of thing.
Sometimes we have a whole sniper war. Just $1, $1.
People just want to see their name. It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. So I'm gonna start sharing, and you guys can talk, and I don't know what that's gonna mean if there's two of you, and I don't know. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, I gotta do my spiel though. So guys, super chats are a great way to support the channel and show your love for all things Trekyards and Trek culture in this case. If you have any questions for us, anything you want us to read on the air, your thoughts, any concerns, super chat them, and we'll definitely read all of those out loud so you guys can get your thoughts out there. Don't forget you can also send PayPal to trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know in the regular chat that you've done that, and we'll read your comment or question via the email. And, all the typical stuff. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification icon. And by all means, check out the Trekyards merchandise down below. There's a TeePublic store and a Teespring store, some really great stuff. So if you want to show your Trekyards love that way, that's appreciated. Plus, we have the affiliate code for Eagle Moss and the Trekyards code of discount, Trekyards discount code of Trekyards 10. There you go, to save yourself some money as well. So anyway, Sean, it is a pleasure to have you here. So thank you very much for joining us today.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel very loved this evening. Thank you very much.
You should. I love watching your stuff, and you're a great guy and a great personality online. So it's absolutely an honor to have you here. So, and today we're going to be talking about Discovery Season 3 versus Season 4, and just our thoughts on
just because it's funny. What would you go as for ups and downs for this live stream so far? Any ups or downs, or are we still neutral?
Well, I'm going to say up so far. You managed to seamlessly work in the merch plug, so that's definitely an up from me. And I've sort of lost count of the downs, so we're just not going to go into that one. Okay, wow. So we're just going to look after the ups, and I'm really happy with that one so far.
So you're saying that infinity symbol wasn't a typo?
No, that's why. Like you might have thought I kept sending it by accident. No. And Sean's never getting invited back again.
Samuel, you might want to have your finger on his mute button by the sounds of it. So. But yeah. All right, guys. So how are we gonna start this? Which is better, season 4 or season 3?
Well, I just want to say who he is first, just to give his own plug.
I already did. Oh, okay.
It's always good when he says.
Who are you?
How do you summarize what you do? What people should watch?
All right. Okay. Well. Okay. Who am I? I am Sean Ferrick. You will probably know me best from Trek Culture, which is where I spend pretty much 90% of my waking hours and 60% of my non-waking hours. But I'm not legally allowed to talk about that. And yes, so I mean, in the context of this evening, we are very much underway into season 4 of Discovery. We have the absolute crack every week. We go through all of the ups and all of the downs. We had some fun with season 3, I can tell you, and we are having some fun with season 4. And yeah, like it's just deep dive into everything, all things Star Trek. Big part of a larger channel. We have Marcus Bronzy, Adam Cleary. We've got Chris Thompson, who I believe, where I have 60% of my sleeping hours where I can think about the channel. He doesn't have sleeping hours. He's just constantly editing and constantly editing. And we have, thankfully, so many more people joining the channel now. And just, you're all wonderful. Bree, Tom, the lot of yous are all fantastic. Mel, Grant, I feel like I'm giving an Oscar. I want to thank everyone and my agent.
Well, that being said, I mean, you say Chris is always working, but I see him online playing Warzone a lot, and I get a lot of invitations from him to play Warzone with him. So I don't know how much he's working. Just saying. No, sorry, Chris.
That's part of it. Well, that's the end of my contract. No, it's no, he's still working. He's just, he's going to casually take out the other channels. But was I not supposed to say that?
Oh, well, that's why he keeps inviting me, and I never show up for the Warzone because it's always bad timing for me. But Bronzy as well. He plays Warzone a lot too. So, just saying.
I am definitely the redheaded stepchild of the family in that I have not joined the Warzone troop yet, and I have been gently made aware of the fact that people are aware of the fact I have not joined the Warzone group yet. So it will happen. It will happen.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. All right, so now, Samuel, do you want to tell us what we're here for today? Because this was your brainchild.
It was. I want to get Sean on, and it made sense to talk about Discovery. Newer news is funner than deep diving right now, and I thought there's such different seasons so far, and it'd be interesting to kind of debate and discuss. And we are very early on, but there's certainly a sense of which is more interesting. Let's not say better, but which is more interesting, which grabs us more, and which one maybe is better this part through. Because we certainly, and we'll probably go through the episodes, comparing how the first 4 have won, which the other, seeing which is more memorable, and kind of just comparing the vibe. Because they are so different, and yet it's a big continuation.
And I think it's fair to say we might touch a little bit on Prodigy too. I want to get Sean's thoughts on that as well, with being a new Star Trek series, a new kind of style. But we'll get to that later probably, so might be worth mentioning at least. So like I said, if you guys have any questions or comments, by all means, super chat them. We will read them, even if they're questions for Sean. But Furious Fawns has just thrown in $5, so thank you, and says, Sean, sorry I couldn't make it to London for Destination this year. I have met those other 2 in person. Ooh, see, we're more important. He's met us in person, so.
But I mean, listen, that's right. It just means I know I need to do more work going into 2022. I need to get the love of the people. And next time at DST, I will hopefully have a stand. Now, the stand will be outside of the XL. I will not be allowed to be a part of DST. That restraining order is, in fact, still very much in process. But I will be there somewhere. I'll ping you my location.
Although, boy, Sean, we miss each other by this much. We're both there the whole day.
In fact, yeah, like, I remember I was kind of queuing for... I think this is not an invented memory. I was queuing to get my picture with George Takei just because I'm a legend. And I think I remember looking over and going, I must see if I can catch that. And then, yeah. So that's the only reason I know that you're not a complicated filter. And there's actually only one. And it's just Stuart throwing his voice. But no, I think you actually are real.
And I've worked with lots of other people, but just not you. I wanted to meet you one of the most people. Just like... It's frustrating.
So I was hanging out with George. Should have come over. Definitely, yeah.
So, Sean, what do you think of season 3 then?
So, season 3. So, let's get the burn out of the way straight away. The burn is dreadful. I'm pretty sure that when my day has come, and there's something stamped on my headstone will be, seriously, that was the burn. So that's how I felt about that aspect of season 3. However, I really liked that they sent it into the future, because one of the biggest issues of the first 2 seasons was, and I was not innocent of this, kind of looking at canon and kind of going, no. I've no problem with redesigns. Listen, controversial statement number 1. The show was being made in 2017. I will fight anyone with a stick that says Matt Jeffrey's original Enterprise doesn't look amazing. But we have moved on in terms of technology. It would have looked, frankly, a little bit ridiculous to have 1960s era tech up front and center on screen when it came to Discovery. So, loved all that. But it seems to be playing a bit fast and loose with, kind of history of Trek. No problem with Burnham being Spock's sister, right? Before I go down that rabbit hole, season 3, you just wipe away an awful lot of that. You don't need to worry about, oh crap, if I sit on this butterfly, am I going to end up Picard's got hair now? You could do kind of whatever you like. And I thought, the opening 2 episodes of season 3 were some of the strongest episodes that Discovery had delivered up to that point. I liked that Burnham was effectively on her own for the first episode, because we got to see that interaction with Book. We got to see her, sort of fish out of water in a way that really suited the character perfectly. Plus, when she was high, it was hilarious. And then, subsequently, the second episode where you see Discovery effectively having that same type of, oh God, fish out of water, and Saru can shoot spines now. That was cool as well. And I really, really liked it. I thought they were really, really strong episodes. The season overall, it sort of went up and down. I don't think it got, to the point where I'm not enjoying this, except with the reveal of the burn. And overall, I like season 3 an awful lot. What did you guys think?
Well, first of all, I want to ask you about that episode 1 and 2 of season 3. Which did you prefer, and which one did you think they should have led with, the Michael Burnham one or the Discovery one?
I like the way that I actually preferred the Michael Burnham one, and because the end of the second episode works because we got that, in my opinion, because we got that first episode of Burnham sort of coming to terms with arriving first. So I got that, the end of episode 2, I was, it was a punch right in the heart. I loved that reunion moment.
So you're on the Samuel page. He prefers the first one as well. I preferred the second one, and I wish it would have led with that, ending with Michael Burnham saving them, not even sure that she's there yet, and having her show up to save the day, and then go into the second episode as a flashback to when she arrived. I think that would have worked a lot better. So I preferred the Discovery story, because the first episode, the whole time I was thinking, well, I want to see Discovery. I want to see the other characters, because Michael Burnham's not my favorite character. It was well done. Don't get me wrong. It was a good episode. However, it just wasn't. I think it would have been more impactful the other way, not knowing where Michael Burnham was, if she made it, and then having her save the day, and then that's the cliffhanger, and then find out everything that happened to her to lead up to that. So that's my opinion. I might be wrong, but
whereas for me, I thought number 1 was much stronger because it gave you a real tangible sense of the new universe. Book was fantastic, really sold the whole thing. You lost the angel suit instantly, which was symbolic. Yeah, we're just gonna throw away seasons 1 and 2, literally, which was an important note to start on. Ends with meeting the chap, hashtags free no save. What's his name? It's not Zial. That's Cardassian.
Which
the guy at the end of episode 1.
Yeah,
Zaheel. There you go. Joseph was Zaheel.
Thank you.
And such a lovely way to end, finding that, and it's just such a powerful moment, knowing even though it's sort of destroyed, there's still one guy that keeps it together. And because you didn't have any of the Discovery aesthetic, you weren't faced with, well, that's a wrong corridor, that looks bad, that's weird, that's a wrong phase. It was just all pure future, and it was interesting. Kind of the second episode is just some people in a tin box, and then the other stuff was great, but all the tin box stuff was okay, don't care, sorry, they'll be fine.
I think it would have worked to flipping it though, because they crash on this ice planet, and then you see this dystopian kind of bar and these people that are, you don't know how the future looks. I think it would have been more impactful. Is Michael Burnham okay? Did she make it? Is she still arriving later? I don't know. I think it would have been better turned on its head a little.
I would have needed to restructure episode 2, but
can you imagine if she hadn't made it? Imagine if they just completely pulled the rug out from all of our feet and like, oh, actually no, Sonika Martin is not coming back.
Season 4.
3. Yeah, this is how we're letting you know as well.
Yeah.
What?
We do have a super chat from Oliver Lavery Farag, so thank you so much of £5. Hey Sean, speaking of destination, how is Boris Johnson doing?
He is doing very well. We have connected on Instagram. The funniest thing is that is a sentence that actually makes sense. Yep. Yes. Faux Bojo, I believe Drew is his name. I have to say, the man never broke character for 3 days. He is a professional Boris Johnson impersonator. That's what he does. 3 days did not break character. And then there was a moment. I might be in trouble now for saying this because technically this means breaking character. But there was a moment on one of the nights where he came over and says, I'm so tired. Please let me sleep. No, that's not what he said.
So confused by this. You're confused.
This is. We had very different destination Star Treks. Let's just say that. He's very well, and I will pass on your regards.
Cool. Before we move on, though, General Grievous, who's been a member for 4 months, the rank of captain. So thank you so much, General Grievous. My joke is going to get a thumbs down from Sean. What happens if Saru opens Taco Bell on Kaminar? Uncontrollable bowel movements. I'll see myself out. The dad jokes are strong on Trekyards generally. I love it when the audience participates as well. So thank you.
No, do you know what? I'm neither upping or downing that one. That's how bad you've made me feel.
The counters are off the screen, and I'm just going to stare at the ceiling. Dear me.
There's a little Section 31 counter somewhere, and see if you can find it.
But I think as a start of a season, they were remarkably good, but it was often left with the, well, we are hoping and praying there's positivity coming. Because a lot of people at the time, obviously we're doing every day almost reviewing the show, people are saying, well, we hate the fact that, okay, yes, 75 trillion people died in the burn. Okay, that is pretty terrible, okay? Yes, fine. But that's in the past, mega past, so now we can push positively. We don't need a dystopian world, we just need a world post-burn. And I try and think in thematic terms that they could do as a like script storytelling, and it doesn't make sense really for that to be the persistent vibe. And so the fact that it became so positive is such a good thing. Especially after the dystopians of even season 1 and season 2, despite being in the era they're in. So I was given the benefit of the doubt those first 4, whereas no, it's a setup. We're gonna get there, and it's a good slow burn. Let's go burn. Good slow build up. Whereas previous seasons, and we said this during season 2 especially, is that discovered an odd habit of at the end of an episode ending like 3 minutes to the end with a really cool thing that leaves you thinking that was a good episode. Wait for the next episode, and you review it. A few hours later, say that wasn't a good episode, but the last minute was good because the next episode might be better because the next time on, and then it's like, then it doesn't pay off, and then but they were all interesting setups, and they're mostly all well paid off, and that was kind of I thought relatively strong first 4.
I would agree. I just think I just want my voice to be heard. I think it should have been switched up those first 2 episodes. I know I'm the odd man out here, but it's just the way it is. Jeff Sturm, $10.
Ooh.
Thank you. Sean, if you had to do an ups and downs mission brief for the crew of the Discovery as an actual member of Starfleet, what would be your criteria for an ups and downs list? I know loaded questions.
Complicated question.
Okay. So, right, funny enough, I'm going to bring another franchise altogether into this. I'm going to bring a Simpsons quote into this one. And do you remember when Bart joined the Boy Scouts and he was given a pamphlet and it was don't do what Donnie Don't does?
Yes.
And I would go, all right, here's first of all, here's how we do our mission briefing. Don't do what season 1 Michael Burnham does. No. There was a bit of that. Like, don't, down, instigate mutiny. Up, get your name cleared and make everyone happy again at the end of it. Yeah. Down. Anybody remember Connor? So yeah, if I was to all right, an ups and downs for a mission briefing. Up, seek out and explore strange new worlds. use the fact that you've got the spore drive. Again, putting a pin in that. Love the fact that we can use the spore drive without people wondering, like, never told Voyager about that then, did we?
Awkward.
Yeah.
They'd be pissed.
A little bit, yeah.
Real pissed.
Yeah. So that's, to go out and explore, which I do think season 3 missed a little bit of a trick on. Season 4, I think we're doing okay with that so far, but season 3, like, if you're the only ship in the fleet with spore drive, well, nip over to the Delta Quadrant, see if they've got dilithium, I think there was a little bit of, does everybody remember the God Drive? Should we use the God Drive, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Guardian of Forever thing, like Carl, was at the edge of the Gamma Quadrant. We don't exactly know where. Like, we weren't shown galaxy-wide map. We don't know how far Starfleet had got in 900 years. As far as we know, that their membership was like 300 plus, members at that point. So we don't know how far they actually expanded. You would assume that it'd be all 4 quadrants, but yeah, it was never clarified. And I think that's one of the missing elements from season 3. A line of dialogue saying we've explored the majority of our galaxy or whatever, or the quadrants would have been helpful. We just don't know what technology or how far they had gotten as far as exploring, so that was a bit of a spore drive jump to the Delta Quadrant would have been awesome. But yeah,
because we were teased for this a little bit. There was a couple of scenes where in Federation headquarters, they're standing around that, the cool kind of central map. You've got Talax, you've got Kazon. For the life of me, I can't remember which of it's not Nistrum, but it's one of the factions. So it's like, oh, great. So clearly, now they could just be using Voyager's map from back in the day. Grand. But, and I guess fair spoiler warning for for Prodigy, maybe, just for a second. It can be assumed that potentially, but long before the time of 32nd century, we might have achieved the technology that we can visit some of these further regions of space. So we can assume that maybe they did, but as you say, a line of dialogue. We've been everywhere from, the planet Memory Alpha to, the Necros Expanse in the Delta Quadrant looking for dilithium.
Or the Great Barrier on the top left. Yeah. Which would be a very easy way of disseminating that corner.
Somebody needs to redo the Johnny Cash song, I've Been Everywhere, but with like Star Trek names. No, it got me thinking that.
And one thing we were saying the entire season, Sean, is that, and still a thing that can happen, they've sort of ignored it, but we thought that maybe season 4 would be, because season 3 we thought was very strong overall, and they kind of earned the right to have not an evil Starfleet, but seeing the other side, because they've now built Vance being so good, etc. And when the burn happens, and every ship in warp drive not active or at warp won't necessarily explode. So there's still thousands of ships that are just stuck, not gone. I mean, thousands and thousands. And there's going to be, starbases didn't explode properly either. So you're probably going to have a starbase in these other quadrants. So you've got pockets of Starfleet that's still operating around. And if you can only, it's not about that you can't warp far. It's that, do you really want to commit, 6 months to go that way and maybe not get back? No. So all the how far you can go is so diminished, and if you can't communicate, you can't communicate. And so there's probably a Delta Quadrant branch of Starfleet just like Battlestar Galactica with a new sworn-in president, their new chief of staff, and at a certain point it should be like, oh god, we didn't check in Admiral Klarn, and he's, oh my god, there's a Starfleet X there, and they've got more militaristic, and they're still the same uniform, still a bit more negative, but they've thought, well, we have to fight these guys versus our people who are sort of just able to be neutral, and so we can fight a mirror Starfleet almost, not literally, but just sort of, they've gone a bit more utilitarian, negative. I mean, that has to happen at some point, because there's clearly Starfleet groups all around. Is it logical to say there's none? What do you think on that?
I think that's an excellent point, because you're dead, because it's fairly established that it's only those with an active warp core. That's when things exploded. Thanks very much, Sukal, by the way. We just kind of let you off with that. So, as you say, yes. So all around, all of the various quadrants, you've got these ships dotted around. And, of course, it's not just Starfleet. It's every single ship that had a dilithium core. So, you have to wonder, is there is there groups of dominion? Is there groups of, say, obviously, well, we have Nivar, so we know kind of what's going on with the Romulans, but we don't know what's happening with contemporary Klingons. Could this have been any of these people been seen as an attack? Is it, an attack and spacefaring way of life altogether? It invites isolationism, which goes to your point of, yes, we can completely see the other side of Starfleet. Like, well, let's rein it in. Let's make it a bit more insular. And that for me ties a little bit into, although for different reasons, it ties in a little bit to Star Trek Picard, because if you swap out the burn and take the Romulan supernova, and you have the threat of secession from Federation member worlds, for committing too many resources to, let's just call it big X thing that's not going to particularly help Y, then yes, you can see why there's this isolationism growing up. But also, as you were speaking there, I had this funny thought of, let's say in this universe, Neelix is immortal, all right? So he will forever live. He's always there. He's in that little, I can see the looks in your faces going, this is a left turn, Sean. Okay, but immortal Neelix is sitting there on that Talaxian colony, and, he's seeing these stranded Federation ships that have actually, they're now under the control of Admiral Klarn, and it's completely militaristic. And he's the only one, he's got Neelix.dark web going, hashtag not my Starfleet. When I was on Voyager, Neelix was so sick of hearing when you were on Voyager. It was
back in my day.
Yeah. It's only for 6 years. God damn it. What's that long? 6.5 years.
Someone, posts a picture of Voyager Jade. He's like, they don't make him like they used to.
Look at those nacelles. They aren't even attached. What kind of shitty craftsmanship is that? Yeah.
But yeah, I love the idea that there could be an anthology series, almost following what's happening with Beta Starfleet, Gamma Starfleet, Delta Starfleet, or even we've had 1,000 years. Are there ones operating outside the Milky Way galaxy? Potentially.
But also, it's one of the surprising things of season 4. They've gone extremely small. Actually, it's very, very micro stories, to the point of we saw a little bit. Oh, dilithium to this planet. We've got a montage of one. Wasn't even, we were expecting this big epic 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 montage of showing. And it's certainly a safer option. It means you can focus on characters, which is clear what they're doing. But it's amazing to have this, literally the universe open up again, where now they can warp for at full speed as far as they want and not worry. They're all good. And Discovery's repaired all the communication satellites. They have communication with a lot of it again. But it's such an insular story, and it feels like 4 in. It should be much broader. What do you think about that?
It's
bit weird, isn't it?
It is a little bit, because what I have felt, so before I say anything else, I am thoroughly enjoying season 4, but there is a criticism that I have up front, and we have a very finite amount of time per episode per season, and we're getting, already in 4 episodes, we're getting repetition. We're getting I had a very interesting talk with someone online there the other day about Book's story, and I won't go too far into it for the moment, but we are getting a lot of repetition in this. Not that the story itself isn't strong enough that it wouldn't carry an episode or more, but but there's so much story that we need to address and that we need to see, and it's a Netflix show. Maybe we have max 13, 14 episodes, probably 13, I think, actually, for this season, and so we're 4 in, and I don't feel we've advanced very far into a story for season 4. And there's some big ideas have been dropped already, which is great. But we now only have 9 episodes to look at them for this season. Now, depends, obviously, there's nothing saying we can't go into season 5, into season 6, but you'd like to think that there's going to be something in this season. Time is money. Time is money. But I'm also saying, because I am the great devil's advocate, I'm also going to go back to Sean looking at season 1 going, will you slow down? For God, you are rushing through every single story here. So, yeah, I mean, I'm never happy. But so they're giving me exactly what I wanted, and I'm giving out.
That opens up an interesting question comparing the 2 seasons. Season 3 focused so much on the burn, and it was the burn. I mean, in season 2 was control. It was this, and it was addressed in almost every episode. This one's taken a step back this season. It's like, yeah, the anomaly, destroyed Quajon. Okay, cool. But it's also an anomaly that changes directions, but it goes sublight, essentially. It's not threatening anything right now. I have a feeling it's going to just end up threatening Earth, and they're going to have to save Earth at some point. I don't know. It could probably shift instead of just slowly moving. However, they've really taken a step back from the big threat of it being this gravitational anomaly that's just threatening everybody this season, to kind of take a Star Trek approach to it and have episodic formatted episodes, which is one of the reasons I'm enjoying this season more, I think, than season 3, even though season 3 was head and shoulders above season 1. And season 2 was a mixed bag, but so what do you think about them kind of taking a step back from the gravitational anomaly and mentioning it, but not being like so weirded out every episode about it and such a big threat?
It ain't proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, certainly in that respect, I agree with you 100%. I like the fact that it's not the end of every sentence, which it effectively was. Now, I do agree with you. Season 3 was a big step forward for Discovery, but it was because it was like, oh my God, we can't say anything without it rhyming with burn. Whereas with this,
or burn him,
or burn him. It's made me rethink all of Star Trek. But whereas this one, I agree, it's bad, and if we get caught in the event horizon of this thing, we're gonna have a bad time. But in a similar way, Star Trek Generations didn't spend its entire runtime going, oh my God, the Nexus, oh my God, oh good Lord. It was, no, it's a plot point, it's a big plot point, but it's a plot point, in the same way that the DMA is a big plot point, as opposed to we're all running away. You mentioned that you reckon Earth, or potentially a core planet, is going to be threatened, and I think you're absolutely. I think we are looking at that. Based on what we've seen so far, a part of me might think it would be Ni'Var. The other part's going, really, have they not been through enough? So
torn apart figuratively and literally, and the Kelvin universe. Yeah. There's a lot going on there.
We are doomed to always be there. Or is it a way of bringing in maybe a legacy race we haven't seen in a long time? Cardassia Prime or Bajor are both being threatened.
Or
Kronos, exactly. Yeah, let's see.
Praxis too. New Praxis.
Oh, actually, no, that's a good point. Like, again, has Kronos not been through enough?
But it finally activates the bomb that they put there. It's like, oh my God, the gravity activated the bomb. What?
Joe, it actually, out of all of them, Joe, it's Earth's turn. You know what? No.
We had a whale probe, and then we were clean sailing for.
Absolutely.
Oh, the Breen.
That thing with the Breen. Sure, listen. They were grand after a while. You know what they do? They damaged the bridge. It's fine.
No. Have you seen the bridge and everything ever? It's the most important thing on Earth.
I'm telling you, they just covered it in solar panels, and it's fine now.
That's true. Are you surprised that the big bad is a minor small bad?
It's a new take, and so far I like what they're doing with it. I do feel, I'm semi-conflicted that they Jadzia Daxed Quajon, and it was just like, well, this will spur the characters into action, won't it? What contract negotiations? So that was a good ending to the first episode. So
punch.
Here we are, full spoilers. Yeah, like that was a proper okay. I did not see that coming. That was good.
Do you know the worst bit? I talked to David, the actor, 3 days earlier. I said to him, I look forward to see what happens to Quajon. He smiles at me saying, yeah, man, it's going to be great. And it's like, but your whole family got killed 4 days later and you smiled at me and said it was great. You lying sack of actor.
He was clearly grieving, Sam.
It was. There's a ton more to that story, clearly, but he was real happy and real content.
He's at the acceptance stage. We do have a few super chats we need to get to real quick. General Grievous, $5. Pick a different captain of the Discovery between Giorgio and Lorca. I would choose Giorgio. She is capable but doesn't take needless risks. I want to see Prime Lorca though.
Yeah, which Giorgio?
I would love to see Prime Lorca. Yeah. We saw Giorgio. She died.
Unimpressively.
Yeah, she wasn't that great. she was Thanksgiving dinner for some Klingons. But I want to see Prime Lorca. I mean, I liked Lorca as a character. I really did. I thought he was a hard-ass Starfleet captain. You find out he's Mirror Universe. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I still like the actor. I like the character. But I do want to see Prime Lorca at some point. I think that would be, even in a short, like they gave up on the Star Trek shorts. Why? Please give us more.
Give us more. Some of them were so good. I mean, Calypso is still one of my favorite 50 minutes of Star Trek.
Yes. No. Will that ever be answered? That's another question.
I'm rapidly losing hope on that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too. I've been fighting for that for a while now, and Samuel's like, hey, "You're gonna die on that hill," and it just nothing's gonna come.
The hill's gonna get changed radically, and you're like, "This hill is now a forest on Mars." What?
It's an ocean now. Yeah.
We have the answer. Unfortunately, it was on Quajon.
Sergeant Montgomery, who's been a member for 13 months of the rank of captain, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Who has the best God tech? Scotty and his transwarp beaming, or Stamets' Spore Hub displacement drive? Definitely the displacement drive.
Yeah, displacement drive. Yeah.
I'm transwarp beaming
far more okay with that. It's the transwarp beaming. Why is anyone bothering with starships?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just beam planet to planet.
Exactly.
General Grievous, another $5. So thank you very much, General Grievous. The anomaly is caused by the Packlids. They kept detonating Ferruvian explosives because they thought they were defective for only working once.
Hundreds of
Red
years.
alarm! Red alarm!
Red alarm! Red alarm!
Stuart is born to a Packlid. But speaking of not Packlids, though, now, would you agree with me, Sean, that we haven't actually seen the story start yet of this season? This is the preamble. Something's going to happen. Oh, that's the real plot, just like in Season 3, where once we find Starfleet, then the story really begins in earnest.
I think so. And wasn't it around this time in Season 3? I think it was episode 5 that we got to. Yeah. So, assuming everyone in the chat is up to date with Discovery, that's my fair warning. We've started to see a slight splintering. Obviously, we have Tilly's big week last week. Technically, both Burnham and Saru have other jobs now that could take them away from Discovery from time to time. Is this where we start to see someone else? And come on, what does the Discovery do? But then, because right now I don't know, bar the DMA, I don't know what Season 4 is about. And that's not a criticism. I just don't know where we are or what we're doing, other than, all right, DMA, cool. What next?
That's exciting, though. Because Season 3 proved it can do that bait and switch. Because we both think, me and Stuart, the gravity might be it's some sort of alien generated thing, might be a portal to another galaxy, something very specific. Because we know they go into it. We see that in one of the trailers. So as soon as they go into it, now they're in Delta Quadrant or another galaxy, and boom, then there's the story. We're just the setup. And Quajon, just like on the original Vija concept, it was, maybe sucked in and demolecularified, and it's still being held in. Because I don't think Quajon's gone. I think it's going to come back. I don't think the end was really the end.
Well, at the very least, I think that Book's brother and nephew are going to show up alive at some point, because he gave them a little bit of warning, enough that they could have maybe got in a ship. And maybe
they can beam instantly, so... Yeah, pretty easy.
But that whole entering the anomaly and going to another galaxy, I think that's going to be the cliffhanger at the end of this season. I really think that they're going to be in the Andromeda galaxy, and that's the big cliffhanger to lead you into the next season. And I would be perfectly fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm hoping for, almost.
I'm not saying that would be bad, but I would feel like that's retreading the end of Season 2.
Have you learned from these writers? Just saying. I know they're trying to improve, but
but it's not a hard reset, though. It's a we built a year of story, 2 years of story, and now we have to go and solve the next mystery.
Like I suppose this is the great equivocator. If it's handled well, I will. I'll be delighted. So. Not that I wouldn't like that, because I suppose what's one thing Star Trek has really stuck to is the Milky Way galaxy. I know I've read too much into this, but Kate Mulgrew potentially let something slip on one of the various Star Trek days, and she talked about Prodigy going to a new galaxy. Now it could have been a miss. Like, I could be like, this could age like milk. This could have been like, no. I meant like a new part of the galaxy, which is fine. But
yeah,
I do like the idea of kind of getting outside the Milky Way galaxy, because, well, if you're standing on Earth and you go left, you've got, oh, that's the Dominion, and if you go right, oh crap, there's the Borg, and if you go behind you, there's probably some Kelvins. So, kind of we've now got to a stage where the great unknown is outside the borders of this galaxy. So in that respect, I guess I would be very happy with the idea of interstellaring discovery into, whether it's Andromeda, I never know, maybe it's Pegasus, see what's going on over there, get some Stargates.
Rodney McKay, the hell are you doing here?
Oh, you knew I'd still be here.
Yeah.
On the USS Lemon. Oh my god.
The Destiny is still flying around out there,
The official crossover. Now, the only problem with that, and we saw this in Prodigy Episode 1, is that when you remove every single Star Trek visual, it doesn't feel like Star Trek, besides we're watching Star Trek, because it's just aliens doing alien things, alien environment, aliens. So if you had... Because they're not going to change the interior of the Discovery, but they would have for Season 3, so it's going to have the same interior. If they go down the galaxy and nothing looks like Star Trek, then we're just watching Mass Effect with Discovery in it. Like, do you really want to see total outside? Because then it's just, well, why is it... What are you gaining from that except random alien of the week? Whereas having it be the Milky Way, there's still unlimited, like, space is three-dimensional.
Well, maybe.
There's still unlimited space, give or take, to.
Maybe during the burn, one of those Starfleet factions we were talking about earlier tried to develop a faster than new FTL drive, ended up in another galaxy, built a little colony, so Starfleety. Then this is gravitational anomaly is them trying to get back home. And so when Discovery goes through, they find this whole Starfleet, like established Starfleet in this other galaxy. That would be amazing, because then you get your Star Trek visuals, you get your Star Trek story, you get the tie-in of Season 3 and 4, the big bads, the anomalies. I think that would be brilliant, actually.
And if you double down on that, if you say, they also said, well, maybe because there's no dilithium, there might not be dilithium in the other galaxy, let's go back in time as well, or a side effect. And so they've then been there for 500 years, and they've got a 500 years more advanced Starfleet.
Exactly.
So it's still Starfleet, even more future, but not future. And they're like, this is Starfleet Command? Starfleet B?
Well,
it's a star group.
Now, we're all, as I say, we've spoken about Calypso, but the Vidraish could potentially be one of these factions. So unless the short tracks were made in complete isolation, and to this day, Alex Kurtzman doesn't know that Ethan Peck and Rebecca Romaine were in a short track, and when he does, they're going to have a serious conversation. I think,
and you sing.
What is this? So the ideas that are in these short tracks surely are going to. Well, we know they tie into the main franchise. I mean, look at Tilly and Poe. So the Vidraish have been established as a potentially dark version of Starfleet. Now, they haven't resurfaced since, and again, Eye of the Beholder and all that. How do you know that this guy wasn't actually working for the Emerald Chain? We won't talk about the fact that it's original Discovery and it's Zora, and it's really confusing. It doesn't match anything until they do. Anyway. But could this not be one of those very things? Because I really want to address that, and also I just want more Calypso. Sorry, I'm going to bring this up several times tonight. It's like, can we just actually hit pause? Can we just watch Calypso for 15 minutes?
Well, did you read what Michelle Paradise said going into Season 4 about Calypso? She blatantly addressed it in one interview. Did you read that?
I don't think I have seen that one. Does she say you're going to get an episode that's just that four times in a row?
Stuart was crushed. Stuart was crushed when I read it to him, pretty much, and I was like, sort of told you so. So you got to remember that short was made under a different set of showrunners. Like, that was made with the original 2, not even Alex Kurtzman. So it's 2.5 showrunners ago with total other visions. It's now, because they weren't going to go into the future at that point. So there was zero connective tissue, intentional, Calypso and their future. 2 different whatevers. Then they get Kurtzman, who says, go to the future with Paradise. Now Paradise in charge. She doesn't want to run with 2 showrunners ago idea. It's canon, but it's not whatever. So she said, even though that was a sort of 1,000 years in the future, that isn't our 1,000 years in the future. That's another in the future, unstated time, but that's not our timeline. That's still in the future because it's and we might get to it someday, but that is in the future. So that's going to be in the year 4000 or so, and
that could be a distinct red herring though, on her part.
But she's like, this is a thing I can't deal with because now it messed up my future because I've invented that. I'm the showrunner. This is because they didn't know they're going to the future, so that was a ballsy thing to do. And now they've actually gone to the future. It's like, oh shit, we have a shot already made. Oh god damn it. So it was
really
just
interesting. Although what I think about that is that, you know, see, that Michelle Paradise's statement was made under a different showrunner, so that's actually not our Star Trek at the moment. So maybe in about 1,000 years we'll get to that. But I mean, it does make sense because you're absolutely right. Of course, I cannot wait for when we get the level of behind the scenes detail on Discovery that we've managed to have from, you know, kind of TOS, TNG. Right up to Enterprise, enough time has gone by. Right now, there's so many NDAs and everything. So, you know, like, you know, we had a lovely time.
Well,
looks like it.
Captain on the Bridge. I mean, they've been basically bad mouthing Gene to some extent. Just, you know, to some extent, like, yeah, this was a horrible place to work for first year. It was all, you know, I mean, we know some people in Discovery. It was a horrible thing to work on season 1. Horrible. So, yeah, we'll get there.
We got some super chats. Let's do those real quick. Sean O'Sullivan puts in €2, so thank you. What you're describing is the Tolan from Star Trek or Stargate 1, SG-1.
Oh,
that must have been far back because I remember how that links. Oops.
Must have gone back, yeah, because the Tolan. I do remember them. I remember they were great, and then suddenly it was like, remember the Tolan?
Who? Yeah.
Thank you.
Sergeant Montgomery, though, $5. Speaking of Calypso, Discovery could have been duplicated like in the episode Enterprise Squared, so there would be another crew further in the future. Yeah, and
I think that's a good way of doing it.
This is sci-fi and it's Star Trek. There's many explanations for so can tie in. So absolutely, yes. I think that'd be fantastic.
Also, sphere data was also cloned and also sent into the future. And I mean, there's a lot of, it has to be a very specific time it was moved.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the whole tying Zora into Discovery Season 4 now with the ship picked its name, and that's the name of the ship in Calypso. I think they're going for something at some point.
She did say that's what we can do. The rest of the story will... Cause it's so nebulous in the episode on purpose. It's so like... So it's like... Yeah,
it's in a nebula. It's nebulous. That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that. I just want to address that. Like, so... Because this is... we're only early in Season 4, so plenty of room for this to be addressed. But Season 3 really didn't address the fact of, like... So, are we going to talk about the fact that Discovery's sentient now? Is anyone really going to address this fact?
Sean,
like, so what happens?
I'm going to talk about the Millennium Falcon being sentient.
Exactly. It's the exact same point. It's just like, oh yeah, it's great. Is it though? Is it great? I love Zora, and I want more Annabelle Wallace because I want her to do all of the Audible books. I just love her voice anyway. So, but then, shouldn't her voice always be Discovery's computer voice? Haven't we had a little bit
She's
of
expensive.
kind of well, and understandable. She's brilliant, but let's give her something to do anyway.
Yeah. Although it would be a bit disconcerting to always have a yes, sir. Firing torpedoes, sir. Just really sexual sounding, lovely voice. It's a bit disconcerting, you know. Detmer's like, computer, stop being so sexy. No.
I don't think I will.
All the panels are exploding all around us, but I feel kind of good.
It's like Holly who said that last spark was as good. Yes.
Let's see here. We got another super chat from Sean O'Sullivan, £2. He says, Tolan were like lost Starfleet, but arrogant.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
General Grievous, $5. Who's been messing with Qui-Gon? Space, it was Agatha all along. Who liked watching books, frowning face, it was Agatha all along.
We just rewatched that.
I'm okay with this.
That's fantastic. Good job. Fantastic. I also put a poll on the street if you want to read that.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. Let's see. It's 81 votes. Guys, go and vote in the polls. Actually, before you do that, though, hit the like button because we have 94 likes and 106 people watching. We're aiming for that 100 mark, so 6 more likes, guys. But the poll is Discovery Season 3 or Season 4? Which do you prefer so far? With a 77% of 82 votes going to Season 4. So right. That's good. That's good.
And our polls are pretty specific. That's quite a telling thing.
So this is a question to both of you and also to everyone who's watching right now.
Answer.
Does the payoff of the burn kind of bring Season 3 down? Because it did for me. That's why I'm going to stand up and say, hand up, the payoff of the burn brought it down for me. There's all the bits I like in Season 3, and it's a very, very good overall.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I didn't think so, because... And here's why. I mean, I don't know if Samuel agrees. I think he does agree with me, but it felt very Star Trek. It felt like one episode of TNG. There's this section of Federation space that you can't go to warp in. What's the solution? That was the solution. It's not a big bad. It's not nobody trying to destroy all sentient life or all warp-capable species. It's nothing like that. It's a simple, small thing that you would never suspect. I think that's very Star Trek. So even though I think because it was so impactful, had 125-year repercussions, because it was so talked about and such a detriment to the galaxy, everybody expected it to be something big and amazing, or some big bad that's coming in, and it just wasn't. It was just something small and nebulous, and something that was just like, yeah, that's very Star Trek. That's a TNG episode. That whole season of Trek feels like a TNG episode just all wrapped up. Because that would be the simple solution in a TNG episode, in my opinion. So it felt very Star Trek.
I'll let Sean respond. I'll jump in.
Okay, so here's why you're wrong. No, I'm only kidding. What I struggle with is, this galaxy-changing event. It colors. I guess it colors my. Oh, this is going to sound really harsh. My empathy towards Su'Kal, because, he has this very sad story. He's been marooned as a child. He has somewhat bonded with this planet, which is how obviously everything happens. And you're kind of like, this is real sad. This is real sad. Trillions of people died. Yeah, and it's not his.
But not maliciously. It was an accident.
But true.
And just to put a little spin on that. If there was an Enterprise with the best crew in Starfleet, they all got killed. I'm just saying, all the best crews all got killed at the same time. Just to point that out.
Can you imagine the Defiant H was on the way, they got the message from the wormhole. It's like, we can go and pick up Cisco now. Great, Cisco's arrived.
And Nog's alive too.
Like I did.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was non-maliciously. That was that little git.
Well, and that's the weird thing about that, they didn't need to murder trillions of people, because they didn't quite realise that when they say warp drive, they mean every Ferengi trader in the galaxy, every mercenary every transport ship, every space station. In theory, that is basically every single person in space. That's basically everybody, to the point of, more people than we've ever had concept of, but they didn't mean that really, which is dumb. They should have said it made all lithium inactive. Just the distance between stars would be enough to make it horrifying. You didn't need to kill trillions by blowing them up. You just need to say, well, now we're only X number of light years away from Earth, but that's going to take us 92 years. Well, shit. So that one change would have made it way less graphic while still horrific, because then everyone near us, the solar system would still be fine, just you'd have generational ships out the wazoo,
And they gave themselves their own out that they then didn't use. They said, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, and by the way, the Gorn destroyed subspace. So anyway, it's like, no, why doesn't that be your thing? Have it like this. The burn is completely, it disrupts all, like you were saying, a bit like Omega, because there was a lot of talk of is it Omega, disrupts warp fields for galaxies wide if enough of it gets destroyed. I mean, again, there you go. You already have your answer there. You have a precedent. You can do that, and you don't necessarily then have to lay the blood of trillions of people non-maliciously. I absolutely respect the fact that as we are sentencing Sukal to many, many lifetimes in prison, we will do it nicely because he didn't mean to do this.
But that's why it's so great. It's subverting your expectations. You expect it to be the Omega. You expect it to be something amazing like that, and it's just a kid that just was linked to a planet and didn't even realize that he had done it just because of his grief. Like, I think that's fantastic. That's such a Star Trek episode closure. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. Samuel, we haven't got your thoughts on it.
So I think in context, because the season 1 writers, they decided we're going to invent a Klingon war, then jump into a mirror universe thing with plot lines don't make sense, then jump and end the war in one episode and have Klingons not act like Klingons at all, like suicide bombers, like real out of character stuff. And that was how they thought season 1's big bad. That's how they treated those. Season 2, you got an AI from the future, which comes back, is already its full AI self, then tries to become an AI while already an AI, already from the future. So redundant, poorly thought out as well. So both were awful in terms of the big bad payoff.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
The screen keeps dying for people, including our moderators. People keep after hitting refresh, even me on here watching it. So I don't know if there's something...
It's fine on my end.
Okay.
It's Sukal. I bet you that's Sukal again. Is there anything he won't disrupt?
He's starting to cry.
Okay,
so
I just want to bring it to your attention so you can monitor everything. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So those two both were awful payoffs for a season, right? Just flat out terrible. So you expect season 3 is going to be a massive Borg Queen threat, and it's going to be this horrible thing, and it's like unlogical. And so we come to this big thing, and it's just a kid that was on a random place, randomly, random caused genocide. That bit's horrible, but it was so abstract, it was always going to happen at one point. And these things happen every day in every part of the galaxy. Something happens. You just happen to be in the spot that creates this awful event, and there's no one who could be mad at. You can't be mad at him really. You just be mad at time, and it's a unifying force in a sense. We all suffered this. Like the coronavirus a bit, well, there might be a fault in that, but we all kind of feel it's just a thing we've endured together. It just is. You don't need to have, it was the Klingons, it was a Breen, it was Omega, something contrived. It's just, a shit day in the universe.
Unfortunate happenstance. Yeah.
So it sucks.
This sucks. This happened.
So it's just the fact that it's infinitely smarter than the first 2 seasons already means like, okay, this is actually a real story. Now, yes, I didn't necessarily feel sympathy to Sukal per se, because like I said, he's the biggest murderer in all of existence. I mean, no one's ever killed as many people as he has, in theory. Although also I do want to bounce back one thing, because once they lost contact with the galaxy, the knowledge of the destruction also went away. We have no clue how far that wave went into the galaxy. It may never reach the Gamma Quadrant, because I think they did say it also weakened, like it started at a point and then weakened as it went out. Now, obviously, I'm sure the point of destruction is still quite high. It just seems to be unstable. But I'm sure the edge of the galaxy has people that were never affected. But are they going to really spend, 70 years to get back in X, Y, Z? And so I was hoping for that out as well. That we have these outer colonies are fine. It was just because when our Starfleet was locked away from the rest of the universe, we didn't know who else was there. So I'm explaining to her at some point, that part of the quadrant was fine, never reached them. But they had no reason to come to us, etc., etc. We haven't got that yet, but or they might go the opposite and say it destroyed the lithium in all parts of all galaxies, and it's like, oh god, even more people. It could go either way.
I don't think it'll do that.
I hope so not to. Yeah. That's okay, Sean.
So we got some super chats here. So Matt Boardman, $5.
Hi, Matt.
Did I miss where they transferred the sphere data that was in the dots over to the ship's main computer? I don't think they ever showed that. It was never answered.
I remember seeing that.
It just happened in those months.
It's when they docked them to repower them that they
Stuart, it happened the same day Stamets and Burnham were stopped being pissed at each other.
They made up, yeah.
I loved that. I loved that. In the first episode, they were just like, let's do this right now. Let's address this right now. Joke.
Why don't you throw me out an airlock?
Boom, done. I was like, yes, because I was dreading going into season 4. It's like, is this just gonna be Stamets? Really annoyed at Burnham for those. She was entirely right in what she did, by the way. Burnham entirely made the right call.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $5, so thank you. Yes and no to Sean's question. Wish I could elaborate more, but I can't stay long. Stole a minute from work. Welcome to Trekyards, Mr. Ferrick. Live long and prosper.
Thank you.
It's been sitting there for a while. I'm not sure which question he was referring to, but Kaylee Anderson throws in £5. Season 3 felt like they wanted fans to solve the mystery of the burn, but didn't provide any clues. More importantly, is Mariner just Burnham done well? Well, to address the first thing, it was like a murder mystery where they give you the red herrings and they introduce you all the suspects, and you kind of have to guess who it is, and if you're smart enough, you'll figure it out. And then it's
Jake. Who the fuck's Jake?
Yeah. Yeah, character
Son of the emissary.
So yeah,
no, Jake with 2 Ks.
But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying there, and yes, that's exactly what it was like. There was no way that anybody could have guessed that at all.
Some guy in a nebula.
Yeah. But more importantly, is Mariner just Burnham done well? Yes.
That is, I've actually, funny enough, I've not heard somebody do that comparison before, but yeah, I see a bit. There's so many parallels, and I know Sonequa Martin Green is incredible, but I love Mariner.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to after the first couple of episodes of Lower Decks, and now she is. Yeah, I absolutely love Mariner.
Well, the
weird thing is, Sonequa Martin Green is great. I met her at Destination last year. Burnham is not great. Is that was so wasted in the first 2 seasons. I mean, but season 4, she's just playing Sonequa Martin Green. Like that warmth she has in reality. Yeah. They just said, yeah, you're not Vulcan. Just ignore. Just you be you, boo. And she's much better because she's working to her strengths of being a nice person. Whereas Mariner, Mariner, she's just great. She got it from straight away, And once you see the season arc, you understand her, and then it's like, okay, I get it. I get why.
Yeah.
So yeah, much better done.
Well, now that Burnham's acting like an actual character and as a captain, it actually works. She's not this rogue. So yeah.
Well, that was even with season 3. I think we made the point a couple of times. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. What rules are we breaking this week?
Yeah, exactly.
And it lost impact because of that.
Yeah,
it's like
that's like it transfers to this season too, where Book's like, I'm gonna go into the anomaly. I'm taking my ship, and she's like, no, you shouldn't. Excuse me, you would do the exact same thing, Burnham. And he points that out, and I love the way it's played. Like, they actually did it right. So yeah.
She's a hypocrite, but at least people call her out for it.
Yeah.
But getting better. Every episode, getting better as a captain. Just be less Burnham, be more captain, and the scales are finding their own way.
General Grievous, $5. I feel it was a letdown, mainly because 700 to 800 years in the future, Disco sort of regressed with tech. Why that far into the future using warp still? Yeah, that's one of the issues we had with season 3 as well, was the whole, you can't tell me in 900 years the Federation and all of its member worlds didn't come up with more forms of FTL. We already had Slipstream, we already did Transwarp, which they half-assed addressed in a line of dialogue here and there. We don't have enough fuel for Slipstream, and the Transwarp corridors are cluttered. Why? We don't know. They never answered it. But they got an SB-19 that the Navarians were working on.
Or the proto drive.
Yeah, and now we have the next generation Spore Tech that they're working on. We have the Pathway drive that they're working on. You can't tell me 900 years. Yeah. You can't tell me 900 years that more FTL drives weren't invented. I just don't buy that for half a second.
What about the slingshot from Voyager Conspiracy as well? I mean, Grant, maybe you can only do 10 light years, or exactly.
Transwarp beaming.
Yeah. Transwarp beaming, yeah.
Just do that in a ship.
Conversation, Sam. We were having a nice conversation here.
Scotty was still alive. No, just get Hollow Scotty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's season 3 is just a much stronger whole. But when you literally destroy a universe or destroy a galaxy, and you need a story to work, despite there being so many layers of, but you're missing all of these things when one line or 2 lines. If it's something that they sort of need a real canonista to walk in and say, okay, we are doing because I think if we were given that job, me and Stuart, if they said this is the story we're doing, say, okay, fine, how do we then maneuver it in? Like there's ways. There's really good, like one thing we said, which I think was Stuart's idea, and I sort of jumped on it last time. The reason transwarp isn't a thing anymore is because the Borg made all these conduits that were more elaborate over the hundreds of years, and then the only way to finally defeat the Borg in the 2750s was to destroy and clutter the transwarp conduits with so much garbage that they were unusable. So we had to destroy our own way of transwarping to stop them. Good trade. Now you can't use transwarp. Okay, I get that. And then that would be one easy thing. It's the exact same rationale, just with a really nice little backstory to it. Sad, but true.
That being said, go in there and clean up the transwarp trash. We saw them fly through it. Like, you got to be able to tractor a piece or two, bring it out. Like, clean that shit up. I don't know if it's an analogy for littering, and I don't know. I don't get it. But
never seen again.
There's a short trek there that's just it's like taking Clean Talk from TikTok, and it's just that. It's just 15 minutes of just cleaning up these transwarp corridors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sean O'Sullivan puts in €2. Thank you. Defiant F launch brings back Cisco. It's real. Okay.
All right. Cool. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
Mark Lawrence, who's been a member for 23 months on the channel at the rank of Federation President. So thank you so much, Mark.
Amazing.
My guess for the Season 4 anomaly is that Q sat on an old Q weapon from the Q Civil War and shot themselves in the arse. Hopping around in pain is causing the anomaly to turn in direction. Just kidding. I just hope it isn't someone crying again. It wasn't someone crying. It was somebody screaming in grief because their mother died. But anyway, moving on.
Which is terrible. But crying was a part of it.
Yes. Well, the super chats are doing great, guys. Keep them up. Paul Graham, $5. Just adding to the moderator, the mod, $5 super chats. So far, I prefer season 4 for all the reasons you said. And then KeplerRecapture.com needs a biz dev and government relations exec. So if you guys are a government relations exec, check out KeplerRecapture.com.
Very specific super chat there. It's like really.
Well, my buddy, and he's got his own thing that he's doing.
I like it.
It's cool. It's cool. General Grievous, $2. Borg were defeated by old copies of Windows Vista. All right then.
What have you done? Just enough to bring chaos to order.
Dear me. So Sean, let's throw the table open to you then. What would you ask? Thoughts, questions for season 3/4? What stands out to you that you wanna? You can put us on the spot.
So, all right. So, Book is so in tune with nature, and he can pilot the spore drive, and is so connected with animals and everything. So, why is he not being put up front and center to like, all right, well, if this is a natural phenomenon, can you let's is this something that you can sense? Is this something you can feel, or is this just something that was handy in that episode that one time?
Well, I think they're going into that a little bit with his guilt. He's like, I should have sensed it. I was, the birds and all that. Like the fact that he didn't sense anything odd, maybe that's an indication that they're kind of doing something in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Samuel?
Well, unless there's a living force inside the gravity anomaly, he wouldn't be able to sense it because it's nature of life, not just nature of space. But that said, that would be kind of fun then if he does maybe start to get visions. Because we saw him have a vision inside. He saw the birds, he saw something else. I can't remember what it was. Maybe he was sensing something in the middle of the anomaly, and that's why they go in, because he's the only one that was physically in there. Would be a reason. Maybe it's just sort of in the back of his head like an earworm, and that could be because why is he still here? Is he the spore drive guy? It's like with Tilly, what was her physical purpose in the show, except, and then she left. Okay, great, there we go. That's the answer to the question. So what's Book's purpose? He doesn't play the captain's boyfriend, which is fantastic. It just happened to be a couple, and it's wonderfully handled. They just sweet, But so what is his? Like you said, they've now finished the Quajon's dead storyline. Going 5 for 5 is an awful idea. They've done that, right? Even for. So what is his next storyline? I'm assuming Stamets, who isn't really a scientist. He's a microbial biologist without a specialty in normal science. So this is not what he's good at. He shouldn't be doing the science stuff. But is he transitioning to be Science Man, and then the other guy can be Spore Man? I don't know. They've got a functional role in the show, unless they're the bridge crew. Then they just dart on into episodes because they have no functional purpose in the show.
Spore Man
Across the universe, sporing everywhere. Yes.
Before you address that, Kaylee Anderson puts in £5 to answer General Grievous's last super chat about Windows Vista. She says, well, Tasha Yar's funeral proves they still had Windows source code in the TNG era. With the green hills and
Yeah.
I mean, she's not wrong.
No, she's not.
Our super chatters barely are.
Yeah, they're awesome. Hit that like button, guys. So what was that point you just made, Samuel? Sorry I interrupted you, but that was funny. Spore Man and Science Man.
Yeah, well, yeah. What is the point of Book's character now? As in, where is he going to functionally go? Because they shouldn't keep going Quajon as a problem.
To be on that one, I think that we've seen already in season 4, we've seen some roles beginning to change. Obviously, Dr. Culber, front and center, is still the chief medical officer, but he's not shifted into. Oh, he's not though. That's Pollard.
He's never been the CMO.
Yeah,
he's just some guy that worked there.
He was holding a scalpel once, and no one's asked him yet. What does he do? No, and then he's transferring really to become this counselor role, which I like. I like these. Let's sit down and have a talk moments of Star Trek. I think we can all agree that a lot of Star Trek is at its best sometimes when we are discussing the nature of whatever it is we're discussing. Nature of it,
and they're wonderfully COVID secure compared to big shootouts in a forest, so they're cheap.
Well, there is.
That's why you're seeing more of them, because they're cheap.
I like that. All it took was a pandemic. We have, of course, Tilly, who has. I mean, what has Tilly done of the last 3 seasons? Of she has been experiencing, and she is learning, and so they've gone. Well, she can lead others to a certain extent. I don't love that she was made first officer for a little while. I kind of see what they were doing in the context of we're a ship out of time. We're kind of, it's a very close-knit family, and well, Tilly's got the most screen time. So, grand, okay, we understand why. But I actually really like that this direction they've gone with her. And we spent so much time at Federation HQ. I don't think we're going to be probably seeing much less of her than we already were.
I don't think so either.
There'll just be maybe less time on the bridge.
Or maybe she'll link directly to the Kovic storyline, which we may get. Because them in unison would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kovic is a cool character.
More of him.
More of him.
His completely deadpan delivery of everything versus Mary Wiseman's like
I'm so happy.
Can you sit? Oh my God! Thank you so much. Yes, this is quite an emotional moment for me.
My soul is a burden with the joy of this moment.
Yeah.
He then dropped of a heart attack. Is there question for you both? Is there any character from Bryce to Stamets to Burnham even that could like let's pick any one of them and go right, switch from what you're doing now, and what would you have them switch to doing? Very general question. So any character, Discovery crew, we'll say. So any member of the Discovery crew, what would you switch them from and to, and why?
Well, that kind of follows up on what Sam was just talking about. Like, have Stamets play more of a scientific officer, replacing Tilly on the bridge, being sciencey guy, would work, I guess. Have Reese and Bryce say something. mean, they got more lines in one episode this season than they did in all 3 seasons prior.
Then
so,
they weren't in 2. So they paid for that time with their lives.
Yeah.
I got more lines, do you? We'll just combine them together. Now you've got more. But you're not in the next 6.
I can't wait for Jet Reno to show up. I want her to become chief engineer because I think that's going to be her role. I want to see an engineering room on Discovery. I think Culber should become the CMO. Get rid of the other lady that's CMO, which you never see, but you think you'd see more of. I don't know. There's a lot of shuffling. And...
Yeah, show us the warp core finally. Just God damn it. Where's the warp core?
Because all we see is the spore chamber room. That's not engineering. It's never been the engineering room.
It's
but
Science Lab 4. It's literally. It's
like,
show us the warp bench.
Yeah.
And you speak to...
If you...
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, just to agree with you there, like, you know, some of Voyager's engineering sets, Next Gen's engineering set, we love them. We absolutely love these massive engineering sets. Give us more. I'm not going to lie. I don't love the Defiance engineering room because it's the size of a thumbtack. And that's fine. That's the aesthetic they went with. That's grand. But
at least we saw
as you say, yeah. As you say, since season 1, it's just like, you know, and in fairness, introducing, it's that big engineering room that we're always in every week. Didn't you notice? Yeah, grand. Okay, it took us 4 seasons to get there, but do give us the engineering section. You know, we know that it's the size of a small city on Discovery, so you can make it as big as you like. You know.
Maybe we've seen it. Maybe it's the turbolift shafts. Maybe that's engineering. That's main engineering.
Yeah, that could be it.
Well, that's the thing, though. The new LED wall make any set possible. And I called them out for this twice now already, when we explicitly would have seen a 32nd century ship, when all you have to do is build a console, put it on the thing, LED the wall, the rest, film it in camera, boom, you're now on a 32nd century ship. You don't need to build a set anymore for one half scene. And yet they redress it. Well, they don't. They paint over one coloured panel of a Discovery corridor. Say, this is a 32nd. No, it isn't. Fuck off. Go fuck yourself hard. And then they don't even bother showing the other one. And it's like, come on! God damn it, just use the wall.
But how do you really feel about it, so?
Oh, I'm fine with it. I think it's great.
Okay.
In terms of characters, though, we've seen it. Burnham was an awful anything but captain because she was the captain role, but on a captain role. She made every captain look bad by being the captain, so now she's better in the role. So they did that.
Yes.
Tilly being off the ship makes more sense because Adira has been swapped into Tilly. We saw that in the first 3. She's now just Tilly, so therefore Tilly is redundant and Adira's Tilly. But that's great because Adira has a more potential because has all the Trill. Like, it's just a more interesting character and yet the same. I mean, if you watched episode 1 or 2, they almost exact same acting. It was kind of stark how, oh wow, you just said act like Mary. Okay, act like Mary. Okay, but then you replace Mary with Adira. And then you have, well, one thing I hope they do, because Burnham's still going to want to go off-world or off-ship, right? We saw that in the last 2, basically no bridge stuff. Have Reese or have the black guy or the Chinese be the second in command, be in the captain's chair, because he was for a few seconds in episode 1, and he was great. He had a certain presence to him, very Sulu-esque. Put him as a second in command, right there. You've earned it. Give him all the stuff on the ship that you would, because all you need is Burnham beaming in saying, how's it going? It's going well. Did this. Okay, great. You can still have a certain crew feel, but they're just kind of ignoring that. So they've made most of the improvements. Just maybe use bridge crew.
I actually, to agree with you, to jump in with you there for a second, I feel that we have slowed down a little bit in season 4. This is a good thing. I do like that. My earlier comments about some repetition aside, we have slowed down a little bit, which means if you slowed the pace, you have a little bit more time to explore. We have a lot of time, obviously, has been given to Adira and Gray and their journeys, which I'm not begrudging.
Well, not that much time. Just some.
Well, when you compare it to Reese's time. It's something like that, because I agree with you. I thought Reese in the captain's chair, I thought brilliant. Mm-hmm. So even if let's say they are going to give me a gift and it's 1 episode of Star Trek Discovery Lower Decks, even though it's not Lower Decks and it is the bridge crew, I would love that for whatever reason. For example, okay, Saru and Burnham have to go and do their jobs as Burnham is now the helping Navarre and the Federation come together. Saru Sukal stubbed his toe and kind of grumbled, and they've rushed Saru over there in case we lose the Beta Quadrant, And so we have just, lower decks, and we have Adira there where Tilly had been standing before. We have maybe Reese in command. We have Detwer. We have Detmer. I was about to say Awasakon in my head. I just mashed the words together because I think they make a wonderful couple anyway. I am here to ship those characters. I think they'll be amazing. And give us that. Give us, we've seen some of these characters for the guts of, 3.5 seasons now. And yet we're still going like, good Lord. You are so right. Like, oh, Bryce had a line. That was an exciting week for Bryce, wasn't it?
And the sad fact is, yes, TOS was the same, and yet you did feel like you knew them, even after one season, despite having very few lines. They put a lot more in. That's nothing against the actors. It's just the lines are very non-interesting that they were given. I mean, even Kim, he could make yes sir and the techno lines a certain oomph that the other guys, and it's not the actors. And you imagine as being an actor who's a trained actor who goes to a convention, meets people, and they're like, oh, I loved you in this season, but you're really only thinking about the season, because if you're thinking as the actor, what did I do this season? I said a total of 103 lines, 50 of which were yes sir. I was on set for 2 days out of the week, and I was done after 6 weeks, and that was my part on Star Discovery Season 3. I got paid 1/10 as much as... And they must know how little they mean to the show, because Season 1 we understood, Season 2 we hoped, Season 3 we assumed there'd be a crew dynamic, and there really wasn't. Season 4 there's not. So they just don't want to give them stuff. They are extras, unfortunately, at this point in the show. They are absolutely extras. And that's a real shame, because they put so much effort into their 5 seconds, and they're lovely. We've met them all. They're all lovely. Stu would disagree, but they're all lovely.
They're all lovely minus one.
But they're extras, and they've been there since the start. And it's shocking, because they could be such a good team, but they have zero interest in making them a team. And 4 years in, you can't say every year, oh, well, they've heard the fans, I'll do it next year. Now, that would have been Season 2. Even Enterprise, who they didn't give Hoshi much. Boy, you knew Hoshi by the end of Season 1, because you got a few episodes of moments of things.
But that being said, all through the run of Enterprise, Mayweather is like a cardboard cutout. Sure, they tried to give him some stuff with his family on the transports.
You still liked him, though.
Never.
He was very. You're totally right. You're right, sir. Like, I mean, tell me 3 or 4 good Mayweather episodes. I think I'll lose you after 2.
Yeah.
But also, you're right. Like, he's very likable. Really, really. Anthony Montgomery. What he was given to do, he did well.
Yeah.
And he still had an awful lot more to do than Reese and Bryce.
Well, yes, it's not one of their best episodes. It's one of their best moments. It's always great when you ask them, and you see this often at interviews, so what's your favourite moment of the season? And the actor's thinking, in one scene I got a real scene with somebody. Because that's literally all I had. I remember the Detmer actress saying, well, that bit where I had PTC, I was talking to Culber. It's like, that was your one scene. Or I piloted. You had 2 scenes in 13 episodes, and of course it's what you speak to, because that's all you had. It's like, and then same with the Grey and Adira. I mean, the Grey storyline is, well, you did this much. Like, what next? We've skipped past the reincarnation factor, like it was absolutely nothing. What's the next bit of the story? That was as easy as pie. Eating lovely cherry pie. What's next? They're not part of the crew, so they can't stay on the ship. So what's going to happen?
Well, you're right. Like, unless they've opened up, I was going to say, unless they've opened up Discovery to having friends and family on board, which I suppose there is precedent for. Book. The fact that Book lives on Discovery, technically, although yes, Book is pilot and Book is essential. Maybe we just need to see Grey starting to do something on board the ship, whereas Grey seems to be set, or at least that's how I'm interpreting it. Seems to be set of no. The destination is Trill, and it's going to be a Guardian. It's like, okay, fine. I'm not trying to get rid of Ian Alexander, but right now they're just sitting there in the quarters, kind of waiting to go, hello, Adira, how was your day?
Yeah.
Which is a disservice, considering we've had such a build-up to bringing Grey to a physical body. I did like. I had to. How did you like how Grey was given their body? I kind of like that there was definitely a nod and a wink to the audience while they were doing this. How did you feel about that? I hear deep intakes of breath. So you love
that is just Stuart sometimes in fairness. His microphone's quite close to him. That is just him breathing. Believe me, sometimes.
Now, you're talking about the Picard reference and the Golem thing.
I absolutely am. Yeah.
That's a more clear sign. That one was.
It was only the first time I've been misinterpreted. I don't think I misinterpreted that one. Yeah.
I love the reference, obviously, but the fact that even they're pointing out this is 800-year-old tech, it's like, again, it's not improved on. Did the Federation just take a goddamn 900-year holiday with technology? Yeah, our warp drive's fine. We don't need anything faster. No more FTL drives. Oh, these artificial bodies in case somebody's consciousness needs to be transferred. That's fine. Soon it kind of worked a few times.
We don't want God tech though. That's one thing they actually stayed away from in this future. We don't have everything.
I know, but I mean, like we've said all along, Discovery with its technology was playing fast and loose season 1, as far as being advanced tech already. Bump that 900 years in the future. How do you make it advanced? The warp nacelles aren't attached to the ships anymore. Nothing else seems to have improved, and I don't buy that for a second. I loved the Picard reference, but again, I think it didn't quite hit for me the way it should have. So
and for me, they are a keen believer in retconning their own show. Because somebody in the writer's room says, let's do this. And then the fans say, wait, what? And they undo it a year or two later. And so when they changed the Picard story at the very last minute to kill Patrick Stewart Picard, which was never in the initial pitch, didn't know until right before, so it was a complete surprise, essentially just brings him back for no, want to kill him for the effect, but then want to bring him back for the effect for season 2 and 3. And so by writing in Discovery in a very short moment, they get to retcon out any impetus to the fans of it'll mean anything, because it didn't. They know it didn't. It's like as soon as they met Vance, they're like, what spore drive? Which told us it was never found, because he would know. He's the head of Starfleet. So they're able to retcon it very successfully, and they're going to totally ignore it in season 2 of Picard because it was a bad mistake, and they know it was a bad mistake because it's essentially irrelevant. So it was a
she's just going to blink it away, I think.
Well, maybe as well. So it was such an efficient cheat while still creating an easy out. Because if you've got the easy out, use it. It's just remarkable how that was going to be because I never thought for a second it was going to be an android body. I assumed hologrammed and hard like hologram, EMH style. There's no reason I thought livable body. So I thought it was going to be the season arc, and to have it be completely finished in 3 episodes is astounding to me, which shows that they didn't want to commit more time to it and they have a real story with the character. So it was just a side thought, honestly, easy out, moving on. It's like, oh.
To be fair, it could fail. It could fail, and they need to find another body.
That's true. Hadn't thought of
that. But
Wilson Cruz. So this, I believe, this was on the Saturday. So Sam, you might have been at this one when Wilson Cruz and Blue Dalbario.
I had no time for panels. I was doing signs all day.
Listen, the pressures of fame are real. I joke, but they're at this talk. Wilson Cruz spoke a bit about what to expect with this family unit. Mm-hmm. So very much he was just like, that sort of in hindsight basically said, oh, we'll get Grey in the first couple of episodes. So now I understand. Okay, Grant, he actually legitimately meant that, but definitely he has suggested that, we will be dealing with Grey, with Adira, with their storyline together all the way through to the end, which suggests to me that, maybe Grey won't be going to Trill. Although, depending on, didn't the Guardian just, transferred their hologram self to the medbay as Grey was being born? So again, distance means nothing in Discovery. So it could be best of both worlds. It could be Android Buddy. It could also be hologram tech in a little while because, I am actually on Trill, but I'm just standing in this, holographic projector that's from this show called DS9, but we're not allowed to talk about those because they were also retconned after a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
That was a confusing moment.
To be fair, Adira could be a guardian on the ship and project herself to Trill as her day job.
Yeah.
Makes as much sense as the other.
Well, and in fact, that was the Guardian was a hologram, but also put his hand on Gray's head and sensed it. It's like, that's not how holograms work, you idiots. Just have him be there. It's fine. Just have him come along. It's no, it was very strange. I that's the thing. The story's got to be something interesting because it is such a. Every time we cut to the Grey idea, it's the most sidestep thing possible. It's like, it's nice, but it doesn't progress the story. It's its own side story, so it's a weird one. That's why I'm assuming it's going to lead into the bigger narrative. I'm hoping that because everything in the story is unprecedented from a Trill point of view. First human success, first time we've taken out a symbiont's memories and existence from a Trill host, which normally would, because once a Trill dies and the symbiont remnant of that personality is there, that's now part of the symbiont. They've literally ripped out a huge percentage of this Trill symbiont's existence. So I'm assuming there should be side effects because that person is no longer as whole. Adira is no longer the Trill that they were because they can't be because they were an amalgam of other people. So I'm hoping that's going to lead to some differences. And Grey is no longer a Trill, is an android Trill, which isn't a Trill, it's an android version of a Trill. They're not going to be identical. So I'm assuming there's going to be some greater logic, stuff that maybe Adira starts getting ill because literally missing part of the identity.
Because think about it, we had to, in DS9, there was that whole storyline of, again, it was obviously introduced and realized quite quickly, but I thought it was fine. Equilibrium. Jadzia, there's something wrong with the Dax symbiont. What is it? Duran has been completely suppressed. So, yes, I would love that idea of just, give us an Adira episode where something is wrong and they can't quite put their finger on it. And then, we'll speak to Grey about this, but Grey is going through their own issues because as part of an android body, potentially there might be, I can never be a host, being a guardian means I am confronted by the fact every single day that I can never be a host, assuming they go down that road. Maybe these android bodies can. And
not just that, but they died, and part of themselves was left in a symbiont, so they're not their whole memory. So I'm assuming you have some points where they say, well, I don't quite remember what happened to my 14th birthday, because yes, not everything is preserved. And not just that, but when they amalgamed themselves into the Tal, they became an amalgam. So they're now a remnant of an amalgam existence. Like, they're not really fully them, which is a great, really exciting storytelling technique. But if it is that easy, that's going to be quite disappointing, because if it's that easy, boy, why isn't every Trill just saying, oh yeah, symbionts, and all of our ex-hosts are back. Cool, Trills from 400 years ago, they're back. It is that easy, sometimes. But wait, we need more, there needs to be some meat on those bones besides they're alive. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I hate to interrupt, but we got a stack of super chats stacked up. So let's get to them and kind of do quick fire, rapid kind of answers to them. So here we go. Sean O'Sullivan, €2. Spore Drive is like Slipstream in our Andromeda.
Okay.
Fleetpaw puts in $2. Sean's thoughts on Stabbits and Book's friendship.
Oh, I could address this one really, really quickly. I really like it. I want to see more of it because they are such polar opposites to each other. Stamets is it's the odd couple. Stamets is the neurotic, I must fix everything now, and he can't. And Book is reeling in his own grief and is still effortlessly cool. So see the two of them together, I think it's a really nice double act. More of them together, please.
Yeah, I agree. Paul Graham, $5. I try to keep it to the character limit. KeplerRecapture.com is a CO2 capture and sequestration X Prize team. We need 2 executives on the team, so there you go. They need some help. Tom Zeros, 48, $2. DMA equals the Great Koala has blinked. LOL.
No great koala
hang on,
things.
we're not supposed to mention that. We're not supposed to mention that.
No, we can't.
Yeah, I quite embrace
Moving
the great
on.
koala, and now it's a thing I say often.
General Grievous, $2. Kim died at the new rank events in senior grade. Aw.
Oh
Finally, a
God.
32nd century died at Ensign Senior.
Yeah.
Oh,
At least he got to senior.
he's got to senior.
Yeah. Sean O'Sullivan, €2. Defiant engineering set. It's class. Defiant engineering set is class. It's a tough little ship. Okay.
It's exactly, Sean. You're wonderful, and loath am I to disagree with another Sean. So I was wrong before. I love it. I love it. I tell you.
And class is an English abbreviation for awesome. Oh, you're class, man.
Yeah. Sean or Sergeant Montgomery, sorry, $2. Could they put Zora into a golem like Gray and Picard? Ooh, maybe. Don't see why not.
Theory, why not? Technically, I suppose, was she ever? Because is Zora the sphere data mixed with Discovery as opposed to just the sphere data? Like, was Zora ever alive in the way that Gray was alive?
No.
Or does that make a difference, I guess, in this sci-fi future where we can make up our rules?
It's the sphere data that evolved inside of... But I mean, well, you'd have to put a Red Angel suit processor, which has unlimited data storage inside, because I don't think the golems have unlimited data storage like the Red Angel suits do. Just saying.
Okay. There you go. You've just given us the reason.
The Red Angel USB drive.
Yeah. Sonic Kant puts in $5, $5 New Zealand dollars. So thank you. Joanne Oa is as tactical officer. She showed last season that she's a badass.
That's good. I can see that.
Yeah, definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane Ackery, $2. Honestly, I'm not invested in the bridge crew. I mean, we'd like to be.
Yeah. We need more of them to get the event. There's a lot of, and I think you guys have alluded to that. There's a lot of hope. Like, we want them to do more. Like, the way they delivered that "yes sir" was like, oh, I bet they could do a storyline.
By season 7.
I do windsurfing.
Oh yeah. And that was a small thing, as I don't know if you'd agree, Sean. When he said the windsurfing, the logical thing is, okay, he'll be the one in the captain's chair that does the surfing.
Riding the wave,
fuck would Burnham do it? She has no knowledge of this. And yet it's like Shatner taking a limelight. It's like, oh, no. You've had your scene, side character extra. I'm doing the surfing. Like, that should have been him. 100% that should have been him.
There was a funny blocking in that scene where, Bryce delivers his thing and then just kind of walks away.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm done.
I do windsurfing.
Wasn't dismissed. Wasn't, I'll go and do this for you. No, it was just like, well, all right, let's know how you get on.
I know my place. It's over there.
Yeah.
But would you agree, Sean, it should have been him?
Place.
Should have totally been him?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go. Handy. There you go. Bryce gets something to do this season. Like, this is a really good idea. That's really niche and specific, and maybe he doesn't get to do that every week, but I will remember him doing that.
Or like Oa with the breathing thing. Like, they give her a thing.
Yeah.
Give him the thing?
No. Matt Boardman puts in $5. Thank you very much, Matt. The funny thing is, the rest of the bridge crew are superstars at the conventions. People love them, and they always have lines at
That
their
is
booths.
true.
Yeah, because they're fantastic people, and they need fantastic characters to play.
They're so happy to be on Star Trek, and they're also lovely.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be? At Destination Star Trek Gone, I just have to, because this was so much fun. There was Disco Does D&D on the Sunday, and you had Noah Averbach-Katz was DMing, and Mary Wiseman and Emily Coots were playing as well. And I tell you, it's among the best hour I've just had, just watching three people play Dungeons & Dragons, and it was so much fun. They were just so invested, and Mary Wiseman is just class at doing voices. She's so much, but she played a goblin. Like, she didn't break character for an hour. She was brilliant.
So it wasn't Star Trek themed? That
That
would have been funny if they played some sort of Star Trek variation.
No, it was away from Star Trek, which is, you're right. It was dreadful. Oh, way to ruin the memory for me there, son.
Well, it just would have been really cool if
ruined it.
If Mary played a Klingon and Noah played a Bajor. Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, just
Kaylee Anderson,
nice
£2.
things.
Only 10 episodes a season really limits Bridge Crew development.
Well,
yes.
13, but yeah, for sure. Especially when it's a universe-destroying event that takes a lot of setup because it's universe affecting.
Yeah. Kaylee also puts in another £2. Did Gray review and adjust his junk? I mean, I would. I got to get rid of that mole, and
I wonder if that whole scene was just metaphor for I'm going to adjust my mole. Everyone pause, look at the camera.
Penis.
And
moving on.
I thought you came to terms with that. Moving on. Not a banned account, $2. Lee Seymour, Section 31, and moral ambiguity. Ambiguity. I can't even say the word.
Ambiguity.
That's the word. Thank you.
The blue makes me smart, you see. Blue, smart, science.
Yeah. You see, the Section 31 show's not off the table, but I don't know.
No one cares.
For me, I'm done with Section 31 in the context of Discovery, at least. I think they've done it. If you need another kind of covert Black Ops mission, Grant, you've got Kovac. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can be your Sloan, your Giorgio. That's fine.
And one thing to always keep in mind of is they might want something, but if Shazad has been hired on another gig as a series regular, which he has been, and also a movie, and Michelle Paradise is also a multiple thing. She's in the Shang-Chi franchise now. Like, that takes 4 months out of the year. Being a series regular, and should be the regular of a TV show, can take between 5 to 9 to 11 months. And I remember, and she's doing multiple projects. She's quite in demand. So, like, if this is a 4 years from now thing, I mean, really, who's gonna want a Discovery era Section 31 show with characters we haven't seen in 5 years that we never? It's just nope. It was an idea. Just let it go. Just let it go, guys.
Yeah. Not a banned account, $2. Will we see Mirror Universe 3190's Terran Empire?
Do it?
Probably not. They made the explanation that they were getting further apart in Zon or Zor, whatever the hell his name was.
Yor,
that's it. Was like one of the last crossovers.
I want to see the Mirror. I'm keen to see the Mirror.
I would love to see it too, but I don't think we will.
I'm not crazy to see it again. It's not that I didn't like it, but I thought the Mirror Universe episodes up before were fun. These ones weren't. They were great. Like, I liked I see what they were doing with it. It was like, yes, it's an evil universe. It should be evil. It's like, yeah, but the Emperor's New Cloak was a brilliant episode.
Yeah.
That's just some Ferengi just dicking about in the Mirror Universe.
The most confusing thing about the Mirror Universe and Discovery is as soon as they went into the Mirror Universe in season 1, the tone of the show made sense. Grim, dark, murderous. They finally went home. Literally.
You're not wrong.
I know, it was great. Yeah. They were the best episodes because they were actually home. They could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah. General Grievous, $5. Trill's retained memories, but not the entire consciousness. There was never any explanation except we love each other, so that's why Gray lives. Yeah.
Well, you don't
love each other.
You don't tend to combine with your lover, so there'll be that huge emotional connection, but also human. I mean, it's a good story. Well, actually, it's great to jump back on there. Sean, what did you think? Were you surprised that when Gray came back to life, there was no kiss? Because if they were in love with each other, there has been zero chemistry-based love vibe. And I think they're just friends now. I don't see any relationship.
And Gray was also invisible and couldn't be touched. Like,
the first thing you do is touch and kiss.
First thing you'd want to do is be like, Yeah.
I think, because, like, if you think at the end of season 3, when Gray appears on Su'Kal's planet, because of, thanks very much, holographic projectors, there is that lovely moment of, kind of the family hug almost, and then there's shades of it in this. It's actually a funny point that you're saying there, that maybe they are just friends now, and I think there is definitely a love there. I don't get romantic love from Adira and Gray. Perhaps that's not the direction they're going in. There can be an asexual type love between them. There can be any different variations on love. But yes, it's definitely... it's not Will Riker and Deanna Troi. You know what I mean? As in that kind of that kind of that the second everyone walks out of this room, their uniforms are off, and quite frankly, they're not going to wait for everyone to leave the room.
Oh, she's telepathically banging him in the room. I mean, they've already started. But I was quite surprised by the lack of chemistry between the two of them when they're actually physically in the same space. Gray feels like, I'm alive again, I'm going to do my own thing. And if the life of Gray is now on Trill, I don't think in long distancing that way, when literally it's the life of a hermit in a cave. That's literally Gray's ambition, and Adira wants to go out and explore the universe. These aren't compatible. I'm sorry, and I'm absolutely fine with that. We've kind of already pushed that story forward. And I mean, you talk about the family atmosphere of Culber and Hugh, and then they're just siblings at that point. Because then it's like, our two siblings are dating? Well, then maybe just brother and non-binary, that's kind of more the vibe, which I think is better probably. But maybe if you know the person so well, you've literally been inside their soul, you're kind of past romantic love. You're into just, we were literally one at one point.
Like they are very much, you've said it, yeah, they are, exactly. They were one, they were combined, and they are combined separately now, which is still, a deeper relationship than I have with myself. Mm-hmm. I look, this could all change with this week's episode. It's hard to tell, but yes, as it stands right now, I'm a bit confused as to where they're going to bring this relationship. And also, for all of the talk that we've heard about this beautiful family unit, it does feel like the family and Stamets.
Yeah.
Do it's just kind of, because maybe it's just in terms of we haven't seen them all in scenes together. Where it's obviously like, Culber is everyone's. Insert relationship here. Everyone, Burnham, bestie. Tilly, bestie, Definitely father figure to both Adira and Gray. And Stamets is there going, hey, that's cool. Yeah. Well done, champ. Well, it's not quite as harsh as that, but Stamets is off doing his own thing. He's trying to solve the DMA. That's his thing.
I do think those acts in particular are re-associating their personal relationship on set with the characters. Like, those four connected because they're all of a certain community. Then they bonded. And they have scenes, but yeah, I think they're probably exaggerating, because do you really want to see them as a 4-unit really pushed throughout the whole season? It's like, they're a family. It's like, yeah, are they? I mean, okay. It's not quite a core concept we need.
They tried to have Stamets be like, is Adira okay? I mean, is everybody okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is
fine. They forced it without, being in the same scene. So, I mean, yeah.
But also, it's good they focus on the main story, because that's a D plot, and it can tick along. So it's that balance, isn't it? And they both are and also aren't hitting the balance at the same time. It's confusing.
It is. Yeah. I have to say, I think you're right. There is, because we've got a lot of it so far, I think there will be more of it. I am looking forward. I am genuinely, for my complaints, I am looking forward to seeing where they go with this story. I do think, and I would not have said this 2 seasons ago, it needs more Stamets.
I love Stamets. I loved him since the first season.
Took me a while to warm to Stamets. I love him now.
And he almost went in his bedroom once. That's real, his hotel room. He almost went to his hotel room.
Okay, before we finish reading the super chats, I'll just give you the story. We were at Star Trek Las Vegas. I had my card key and my business cards in the same pocket all day, and I was making sure that I made sure it was a business card before I handed it out to somebody, because I didn't want to give away my room key. Go up to see Anthony Rapp, and he knows us. He watches Trekyards. So I walk up, and he's like, Captain? And I'm like, I was kind of nervously, I grabbed into my pocket and handed my room key, and he's like, oh, Captain.
Brilliant.
So I'm not exaggerating, Sean.
Yeah. It was a great icebreaker moment for sure. But the fact that he's a fan of Trekyards and watches Trekyards on set in season 1 was awesome.
He literally emailed you from the set of season 4. It's like, literally when the other group said season 4 cancelled, he's literally emailing Stuart in costume on the set.
Twittering.
Well,
we talk on Twitter.
Yeah. Just like, it's not cancelled. He's there. He's in costume.
Yeah.
How am I cancelled? I'm on set. Hello.
So hang on. So how much of a super chat does it cost to get a key card for your hotel room then? Just so I know now for the next one.
150.
See, 100 shirtless.
All right.
And that's actually a rule. 100 is shirtless. Oh.
Radio. An hour.
Trekyards
15 minutes, buddy. 15 minutes. I don't know.
All right, moving on. Not a band account, $5. Could Michael Burnham get the first in-show main character promotion into the Admiralty? She saved all of creation, brought Navarre back into the Federation.
Yeah. I mean, like, considering, I suppose, if you look at how quickly she has advanced in rank, now, there has been so many mitigating circumstances, in fairness.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could easily see it happening. I even thought, there was Trader, obviously turned out I was wrong, but I thought that little brooch on Saru thing, I was like, okay, yeah, stick him in a Commodore role at least. Like, we know he can come on. Yeah. I wouldn't be as shocked if she was made an Admiral in Season 4. Season 2, I'd be just like, are you guys really stuck for Admirals? Is that what's going on here? But not so much anymore.
Yeah. I think at the end of the series, she might be an Admiral. At the end of the series. That'll be like the closer. But,
well, they presented an interesting idea with Tilly being given a teaching ship. She's not teacher material in the abstract sense, but it's because she is uniquely suited as one of the 60 people that came from the past to have science knowledge, friendly personality, everyone likes her, and she can relay everything she does in that vibe that they desperately need of the past love. And so Burnham being an Admiral isn't so much you're a qualified Admiral, except same in the universe. It's a case of you can bring this past perspective into the room of other Admirals and help to move things along with that perspective. So it wouldn't be, you know what I mean? It's not literally because of the role you need it for. It's just because you can bring this perspective that so few can. So, yeah. Actually, wouldn't be too far against that. Just get the bridge crew to captaincy then. God damn it. Who's captain? Bryce. There we go. Captain Bryce.
They'll bring in someone new just to make sure Bryce doesn't get to sit in the seat.
Prime Lorca for Stuart. The other Rimba Key store. No, okay.
Yes. Area 51 throws in $5 and blinks rapidly and says, "There's a bridge crew." Yeah, there is. They're there. They're not painted on the walls. Trust us. Vero Victus, $2. Real question is, where the hell is Reno? Apparently she's going to be in the next episode, and she's going to be.
Yeah, they've released a scene, haven't they? I think she's in it.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah. And she's going to be in quite a bit more of the last half of the season, so that's good.
Yeah.
Mark Lawrence, $5. I hope one of the new ships being built isn't named the USS Boeing. It would never get launched, constantly plagued by delays.
Okay.
Sorry, now
not quite sure what you're. Yeah, a little bit over my head. Not a band account, $2. Will we see more 3 or 4 nacelled UFP ships? Hopefully.
Maybe. I think. Now I'm giving out to myself because the name has gone straight out of my head. But the name of the ship from the opening of 2 episodes ago, with the Quat Mulot.
The Credence. USS.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was a 4 nacelle ship, I think.
Or 6, depending how you.
Yeah.
Well,
they didn't really give us a good look at it, but yeah.
See, the nacelle or a side plate thing.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, because we only got that side shot of it. Yeah.
Sean O'Sullivan, €2.
Thank you.
Defiant engineering set had serious TOS vibe. Core is weak.
Yeah, actually, I see what you mean there about the TOS. Actually, big time now that you say that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Star Trek Into the Mirrorverse with Prime Lorca. Dun dun dun. There you go. There's a new show. Not a band account, $2. Is there still hope for the return of Prime Lorca? It's Star Trek, yes. Of course.
I'd say not Discovery. I'd say maybe Strange New Worlds.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah.
General Grievous, $2. Are 2 siblings dating? Hollow banjo intensifies. No. Oh my God, that's awful. Moving on.
Oh dear.
And we're on the last super chat for right now, so we're caught up. General Grievous, $5. Captain Foley pulls out room key. Anthony Rapp looks up surprised. Oh, Captain. George Takei walks in. Oh my! Yes, that's the only thing that was missing for sure.
And I just say that was sleek as hell, Stuart. You leave. You know the man 44 seconds and.
Hey, I always like the character and I always like the actor. So
you got to shoot your shot.
shot. That comes after when the room. And...
Oh, that's dirty,
yeah.
Samuel.
What? No, I mean to get his email to. Okay.
Oh, shoot off an email. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're caught up on super chats now. And
for the poll, with 180 votes, with a 69 giggity votes percent for season 4, preferring it so far to season 3. So Sean, what would you say as we'd like our final $25, Stuart?
If you could, a couple more super chats would be great, guys. But there's a lot of super chat slot. Right now, it's not a banned account. Who just came in with $5. If the Federation is so advanced, where is the Tim Hortons at the Starbase?
Yeah.
I don't know, but Tim Hortons. Dun, dun, dun.
So Sean, then, as we start to close, then now we've discussed it for a long old while. How do you compare the two intros to both seasons, which we should have asked you at the start and kind of went to everything else? Which is better, why, etc.
Season 4, Discovery A. If we're talking the intros themselves, as in the opening credits, Discovery A has finally arrived in the opening credits, so that wins out for me. I mean, like, if you're going to tease me with the new ship, give me the new ship.
Except for in one scene where you see it from the top, they didn't put the cutouts in. Every other scene they fixed that, but there's one shot where you see it from the top, far away, and there's no cutouts. So just saying, the nacelles are detached, but the cutouts aren't there.
Oopsie.
Who left work early this day?
So, yeah.
It is a good looking BA. All they had to do was just completely change the design and it looked great now. Didn't take much.
I think in conclusion, we can safely say that I think from the discussion, all of our opinions, all three of us, is that season 4 is better than season 3 so far.
Well, I kind of enjoyed season 3 more.
Did you really? Because it's a complete season?
Well, no. So I mean, let's see if Sean agrees or not. Season 3 had more interesting narrative-driven moments so far. This season is stronger overall, but there's not really as much moments. They're just sort of moving along at an okay pace, but you're not going to remember what happened in episode 3 compared to each episode of last season was like, this is the Trill story, this is the Earth story, this is the Starfleet Command story, this is the... they're all so distinct and they all have a big emotional pulling us drive. This season is like, I mean, they've had 4 episodes, they're fine, they're good, but there's less zazz to the narrative compared to last season.
It feels more Star Trek though.
But also like more okay. Like TNG season 7, it's like it's good. It's not great though,
You say there were memorable episodes in season 3, and you mentioned a few there, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You can define them by the Trill episode and the Earth episode and the Starfleet Command episode. I mean, those are, they're very, very distinct, and they all have a genuine narrative push and a universe push. And I don't know, Sean, what do you think? That's kind of how I flow with them so far.
I think I definitely take your point there. Look, you've had in season 3, like the first one that jumps to mind for me is Unification 3. It's probably the standout episode of season 3. And we haven't had that yet in season 4. I do think people have settled into themselves a bit more in season 4. And which is why I'm maybe a bit more forgiving of the slower pace, the kind of the less, we had this explosive, oh my god, Quajon is gone. Rest of the galaxy's fine though.
Yeah, it's all good.
Just really didn't like Quajon. Yeah. Kind of. It's like that old meme of the lightning hitting the ocean in 6 spots, and God did say, screw these particular 6 fish, not the rest of them, just Quajon. I think whether it'll be mid-season or something, we will get another big bang. I don't know whether it'll be, it's going to be the Breen planet because we've never been there or something like that. We will get something. So I think season 4, my assessment of season 4 compared to season 3 is going to be kind of in the next couple of episodes. First 4 episodes, I like them. I like them a lot, and I am enjoying season 4. I would probably have clicked season 4 now on that poll over season 3, but I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you either, and I am very comfortable sitting on this fence.
It's like it hasn't got the highs, but it's missing the lows of season 3 start. So it's good middle, but it hasn't really had many highs, which is a weird. No, whereas season 1 we had like a couple of highs and massive lows. So like just the average is nice, but it's not grabbing in the same way. Like and I mean we've seen our viewership drop significantly from season 3, season 2 because people just aren't as interested. I guess I'm sure it helps with people being so pissed off with the Netflix thing. You know that people did not come back for that. Okay, fine, but they're just less of a engagement with season 4 for whatever reason.
Yeah, this seems to be, yeah.
I mean, obviously, yes, they didn't destroy the universe with the burn, which is going to grab people's interest. The mystery, there's not really anything to grab people so much in this season, and it's it's been interesting to sort of feel the community just be smaller this year. So we're here every year, so we see the people's reactions to it. And, yeah.
Well, we got more super chats. Let's get to those real quick. Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Shall I start with a snipe? Yes. Thank you. Area 51, $2. Ready to lose that last slot. And you did by not a band account, $2. Needs higher stakes. Michael saves the multiverse. Dun, dun, dun.
I would accept it at this point. I'd be like, yep, of course she does.
Yeah. Sean O'Sullivan, €2. Canada running out of maple ends of nation. Rest in peace, Hortons. We're not running out of maple. Stop it.
That would be the end of the world.
Edward.
That would be the end
Edward Longaria, $5. Last episode ends with the new Enterprise being built, launched from the Archer station to really show the return exploration return to exploration, and Saru as captain.
Actually, Joe, on that point, just really, really quickly, I love the love that Enterprise is getting this season. Loving it. Obviously Archer station, the snow globe. These small little things. It's just like it's kind of like them going, yeah. You didn't like Enterprise very much either, did you? But we love it now.
Season 4, season 4. Foursies,
Yeah.
God, can you imagine bringing back a holo of like Joey and Baylock now walking in? It's like, hello? Or she'd like to Paul's great. That'd be like, hello? Goodness. What a surprise.
Well, not a band account. Where is USS Enterprise W or Z by now? Or Z?
Or double A or Enterprise AF.
Well, at the rate they go through Enterprises, they will have run out of the alphabet a long time ago.
Enterprise X42. So, yeah, we had that many.
Sonic Cants, $2 New Zealand dollars. They shouldn't have killed Osira last season.
Prison.
Captain Chili Beana, $2. Finally got a captain's log opening this season. Yes.
Sorry.
We've been asking for that since
Love
season 1. Yeah.
She did great. Can't fault it.
Yeah. Not a band account, $2. General Grievous, you're shorter than I expected. Here we go with this rivalry. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Forgive me, or forgive misspells my thumbs. Make up more alien words than Thaddeus Riker. What did you do wrong? I don't understand.
We love you anyway.
You made him read that though, so that's a success, I think.
Yeah, don't make me read stuff like that. General Grievous, $5. They need to focus more on rebuilding the Federation and not on this week's big bad universe-ending disaster. It starts to lose effects. People get bored. Yes, rebuilding the Federation should be key for sure. So.
I agree. I'd like to see more of that.
But they've set stuff up. So episode 5.
Yeah.
Like I think this episode will be the show we're gonna meander forward or turn a corner. I think this one's gonna be the one. Yeah.
So I'm fingers crossed. I think we'll get something anyway. Jet Reno saves the universe.
The pack leads the true threat.
Yeah. Well, we should probably call it there. So I want to thank you, Sean, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. It's always awesome hanging out with you.
Well, we hope it was a pleasure for you as well. We can say it was a pleasure, but Hope you had fun.
I had an absolute blast. Normally I make a joke here, so no, it was an absolute blast, and thank you so much for inviting me to come on. I really had a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to have you on again sometime, maybe at the end of the season, to do another discussion like this. So
I would absolutely love that. Yes, I am preemptively saying yes to that. Please ask me every week. It's fine. It's no problem. I'm not.
Well, we can ask you on Christmas Day if you want, because that happens to be the Friday that the thing comes out.
Yeah, works. That's cool. My Christmas present. That's fine. Yeah.
We're all in Santa hats. It's like season 4, episode 6. We're here. 4 viewers.
Oh, you got one. There you go. Perfect.
Fantastic.
I may not be at home right now, but you never leave home without a Santa hat at this time of year. That's all I can say.
We're looking into the future right now. So
that suits you really well as well. So, but Sean, where can people find you? On the tweets, on the on the OnlyFans, on the
all of them. You can find me. If you find, basically, my Twitter is at Sean Ferrick, which itself has links for everything, and of course at Trek Culture as well. So we have the channel there on YouTube, is everything there, and of course What Culture, you have all the articles on that as well. So yes, so you can find me on all of that. I'm on all of the socials, but start with Twitter at Sean Ferrick, and however deep you want to go down that rabbit hole, that's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you can throw some, people over to Trekyards subscriber-wise, we'd really appreciate that. Maybe a mention here and there. I don't know. We mentioned the whales on the Enterprise D before you guys did, even though you claimed. Anyway, moving on.
Stuart loves his whales, so it's fine.
We got a few super chats. General Grievous, $2, not a banned account. Oh, I don't think so. Not a banned account. Fires back at $2. We will see. Will we see a 3190s Packlid planet? No.
Oh, Packlid Planet A, or New Packlid Planet. Yeah.
Fleet Pod, $2. Snipe, thanks for joining us, Sean. Live long and prosper.
Thank you
and
very much.
Shane Ackery, $2. Thanks for coming, Sean. I'll call it there. We'll say goodnight.
Yes.
Until next time, he's Sean Ferrick. He's Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
I am. We'll see you guys later. Not a banned account. Wins with $2. Never give up. Never surrender. Bye, guys.